And hello, everyone. It is Tom. It is Fanzine Live. If my calendar is correct, it is November 1st. It's actually not November 1st when I'm recording this, but when you see it for the first time, it will be November 1st, and that is Short Run Comics Festival, Seattle, Washington. Really excited to be here in Seattle. Really excited to be able to spend time with Steve Willis, who I've been corresponding with over the last year plus, really becoming great friends with Steve. I'm really excited about spending some time with him, but also meeting all the terrific people out in the Pacific Northwest and the like who are at the show. That said, the reason why I thought it would be good to do a Phoenix Spotlight on November 1st is not because of Short Run. It's because it was the end of the Collected Cranium Frenzy project. This is volume 4. We have two other things that are available through the Collected Cranium Frenzy project. The first one is the Collected Cranium Frenzy Reader, which presents just a sampling of Steve Willis's work in a slightly larger format with a few extras, like a great interview from Rick Bradford and some Morty comics. But that's just the reader. That's supposed to give you the taste that makes you want to take a look at the other big 4 volumes. The other is The Tragedy of Morty, which is, for the first time ever, collected 5 acts into one book. You can get it in softcover or hardcover. It's one of Steve's big projects for his life. They call it his opus. And I don't disagree. But this Collected Cranium Frenzy, this is what hooked me, and so I want to be able to share this with you. We are releasing volume 4. This is all stuff from last year, 2024. These are the last 12 issues, I guess, of Cranium Frenzy before he went on break and then started doing Jam Comics during much of 24 and 25. However, he has gotten back into it with Cranium Frenzy, and he now is up to 43. I have heard from him that he is currently working on 44, so it wouldn't surprise me if he decides to drop a surprise on everybody at Short Run. But this was the initial pitch I made to Steve. Let's do your 40 issues, 4 volumes, put it all out there in a nice collected softcover book, and that we did. And I gotta tell you, this has been a lot of fun putting together. Volume 1 was our Morty issue. Volume 2 was our Mewky the Mutant Membrane issue. Volume 3 was the Bee with No Name or Bug with No Name. Excuse me, I can't remember which it was. And Volume 4, of course, is the Cosmo the Bear issue. So all of our extra pages have Cosmo framing on them and Cosmo backgrounds. And Steve decided to dedicate that to me. Very kind. As well as Tom Ream. The forward is by Rick Bradford, who does the Comic Scene database. He also did the interview for the Reader. It was a 2009 interview. Really nice to see that. And he wrote a very nice forward. And then we just get into the book. And this is his most recent material. And I dare say that Steve has gotten more and more surreal. And by that, I guess you can be surreal and crazy and surreal in almost more of like a gentle type of approach. And perhaps maybe it's that Steve got out of the rat race and has since retired in doing this work. It's beautiful. His work is just beautiful. It's fun and it's light. And he has a great deal of fun doing it. And he's an excellent storyteller. His artwork is creative. Just incredible. I mean, look at this. The Spontaneous Human Combustion Cafe. Dead End. He does a section on Franklin Pierce, the former president. And that's just issue 29. Every issue is done this way. Cover, and then the 19 following pages. Because again, he does them as half-page digests. So it's a 5 piece of paper, 5 times 4 is 20 pages, which is what he has. We don't do the color covers here, but we give you some really, really nice looking reproductions. And these are reproductions at his size and format. This is the special Sebastian Cabot issue. Sebastian Cabot is just hysterical in this. And he starts showing up all the time from here on out. Becomes one of Steve's great recurring characters. Just beautiful stuff. I mean, look at this. The music of the cranium within. Incredible work. Oh, hey, there's Sebastian. Told you, he's all over the place. For those who don't know Sebastian Cabot, he is a now deceased actor. When I was a little guy, I used to watch reruns of a show he was on in the probably 60s called, was it Family Affair? Anyway, his character's name was Mr. French, but he also has done a bunch of other stuff as well. Steve likes to point out his war movies and some of his other dramatic roles. I always look at him and see Mr. French being this nice butler guy in this house with cute little kids. You got to have your floating craniums. The cartooning here is just top drawer. So every issue is presented in the exact same manner as he created. Paper is a cream stock, kind of comes close to a newsprint type feel. We intentionally did it as this, first because the blacks hold so much better on the soft covers than they do with the white paper. Interesting, the blacks hold really well on white paper on hard covers, but that's a different story. But on the soft covers, this is how it comes through. Also, by doing, wow, look at that cover. I'll let you just pour over that while I mention. The other thing we wanted to do is make this as relatively inexpensive as possible. And these are nearly 300 pages. And we have the price on these at $20, which $20 is not a cheap date for anyone, but it is an incredible deal when you look at the quality and volume of the cartooning that you get out of Steve. This issue 37 is entirely the cultural countdown. This is one of my favorites. He goes from 100 down to 0 and comes up with a reference point for each one. So I'll just go through this first page to show you what I mean. For 100, he has the 100 Years' War, which was from 1337 to 1453. Strictly speaking, it was intermittent for 116 years. Well, thank you, King. Then you have 99 for 99 bottles of beer on the wall. There we go. Take one down, pass it around. 98 is an Olds 98, which they were making from 1952 to 1996. And then lastly, for 97 is the Wreck of the Old 97. Looks like a train wreck from 1903. So he goes through and does all these little cultural touch points all the way through. And he has some fun with it as well. Studio 54 for 54. Nice looking Morty there. Sebastian Cabot died in British Columbia on the 23rd of August, so he does that for 23. God bless you, Sebastian Cabot. And that's a really great one. I love that issue. And it just keeps going and going. And then we get to issue 40, and he did his repeating rubber stamp Mortys. Not too dissimilar from the rubber stamp work of Matt Levin, who we know and love here at Fanzine Live. You can see the rubber stamps and how they came out there. And this was a really neat issue. By the time I read this, Steve had told me he was going to be dropping Cranium Frenzy for the time and working on, he was feeling a little burnt out and wanted to re-energize himself. And so he said, the way I want to do it is through the Jam comics. Reading this, there was a sense of, I don't know, it was bittersweet because they're great. A story of hair in 3 parts. This is the first part. This is another part, and that's a part 1, 2, and 3. Oh, he's great. I love it. This is my afterword. I thought I'd do a nice little piece talking about what he is all about. Of course, he does his little self-description bio. Put in an ad for the Poop Sheet Foundation by Rick Bradford. This is probably the best place if you are a Steve Willis completist or a completist for any small press zine type creator. The work Rick is doing with the Poop Sheet Foundation is amazing. His comic zine database, it's all searchable by name, by title, whatever. So enter Steve Willis in the search bar and you get pretty much everything that Steve has ever made or contributed to, which is important. And we have the listing of collected Cranium Frenzy stuff, page for Phoenix Productions, and then the Fanzine Live ad. There it is. The end of the road for now. The first 4 volumes are done. Collected Cranium Frenzy by Steve Willis will be released in person today, November 1st, out at the Short Run Comics Festival in Seattle at the Seattle Design Center. Get your own copy in person. I got a feeling Steve might even sign it if you're nice to him. So glad you joined us though. Let me know what you think. Have you read any of the Collected Cranium Frenzies yet? What do you think of the books? I'd love to hear some feedback. I've heard some, not a ton. No complaints so far, so I'm feeling pretty confident that we did it right, but I would love to get any feedback that you may have. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment. Don't forget, like the video, subscribe to Fanzine Live, and of course, tell your friends because, well, this is obvious. It's Steve Willis. We want to share Steve's work with the world. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. This has been Fanzine Live. I'm Tom. I will catch you next time.